Angry guy here, and women are desperate to find a good man. Help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already have not done so, hitting the like button, and turning on notifications. Now let's begin. Women are desperate to find a good man. Let's just go ahead and jump into the first video from Soraya.
There's not a lot of conversation about the really beautiful parts of men. Outside of their money, outside of their...
Oh no, throw the whole video, the whole message out already. I mean, ladies, is it possible for us to sit down and not mention our sexuality, the size of a man's wiener, or his bank account? I mean, can we even do something like that? See, I have seen this clip on one of Coach Greg Adams' shows, and I thought, this is worth giving a closer look. So let's see what else Jessie has to say.
Things that we are attracted to that don't get a lot of attention. And I know a lot of men are not gonna listen to me or believe me, but when I tell you these attributes are so sexy. Number one is vulnerability. When a man can be honest about the trials and tribulations of life, how it made him feel, what he learned from it, how he grew, how he found resilience, how he's changed over time, and honestly and authentically articulate these things to his partner, to his friend, to his therapist, it is so fucking sexy.
Is it? See, the problem with her statement is that nowadays not a lot of women are patient enough or willing to stick by a man's side for a longer period of time in order for that man to actually open up towards a woman or even emotionally connect to her. A man is just not going to meet you and sit down and talk to you about all the things that he had went through, all the trauma that he has experienced, the second or the third time you guys meet. It takes patience. It's not going to happen like that, sweetie. I'm going to have to disappoint you. Besides, there have been so many men that have opened up towards a woman, told her everything, and all she would do is use that against him the first opportunity she gets. Whether if it's the first argument, whether if it's the first time where she feels like she's not getting enough attention anymore, whatever it is, us women have the tendency to get mad and throw whatever the man has told us, has trusted us with, throw it all into his face. Men usually don't talk about their traumas, not to their therapists, not to their partners, and not to their friends, because they somehow had to learn how to deal with that on their own. I mean, growing up, you're a boy, you're growing up, you're being told that you're not supposed to show any weakness, that you're always supposed to be tough, and now you are a young adult, don't even know sometimes that you have went through some trauma because you were never allowed to speak about your emotions. So now you got us women talking about, oh, I want my man to show his emotions towards me. I want him to open up towards me. He doesn't even know how to do that. I've been with my husband for 22 years and we have been married for 15 years. And trust me when I tell you that there are things that he probably has not told me about. I don't even pressure him. If he's ready to talk to me about certain things, that's fine. And if he does open up towards me, sometimes I'm like, okay, wow, how am I going to deal with this situation? Just because of the simple fact that this topic is so sensitive to him, and I have to make sure that my sensitivity level is on 120, just to make sure that I don't react to what he's telling me instead of responding.
Guys, it's interesting what she says right here, but I have to say that most men know better. Most men that know that at no time should you open up. Certain things you should always keep to yourself. A man should not talk about his insecurities to a woman no matter what happens. No matter what she says, no matter how close they are, he should always keep certain things to himself, even if he has a good woman. Saying certain things to her will subconsciously make her respect him less, trust him less, or believe that he can protect her. Some things a man has to keep to himself. It's just the honest truth. A lot of men don't comprehend this until it's too late, that a woman will lose attraction to you because of the things that you say if you open up to her. And the truth is that when women say that they want men to open up more, they don't actually want men to open up more. They just want men to keep on constantly reassuring them that they actually care about them. That's it. She doesn't want to see you cry. She doesn't want to know your insecurities. She doesn't even want you to know that you're insecure. She wants to see you as this being that basically can do everything and anything and is not reactive to anything that she says. Like, that's the honest truth. When women are creating chaos in the relationship, the only way to actually succeed is to not be reactive, to hold your emotions together, to not scream, to not yell back at her, because then you're giving her what she wants. The only way to succeed in a relationship is to constantly keep your emotions in check. That's the definition of emotional intelligence, being able to analyze a situation while keeping your emotions in check. Women cannot do this. They believe that they are the emotionally intelligent ones in all situations because they are more emotional than men are. But the truth is that just because you're emotional does not make you emotionally intelligent. I showed you guys a video quite recently where a woman explained that women are not emotionally intelligent. They are just faking it. They like to say that they are emotionally intelligent because they are more emotional than men. But the fact of the matter is that women struggle with emotional intelligence because they cannot control their emotions in most situations. A lot of this has to do with the fact that they are raised by their mothers, and women raised by their mothers don't know how to control their emotions, just like men raised by their mothers, because children, boys and girls, learn how to control their emotions from their fathers. Let's take a look at that video actually.
Not emotionally intelligent. And when a woman says that she wants emotional intelligence from a man, what she really means is that she wants a man to be able to change his behavior to make sure that she isn't the one being out of control with her emotions because she's not able to control them herself. It means that the men in their lives have to behave a certain way to essentially make her behave correctly because she doesn't know how to control her own self and her own emotions, and she's not emotionally aware of things that are going on around her. Most women that scream emotional intelligence don't even know what it means. It means being in control of your emotions and using logic around situations and adapting to different environments, which women cannot do, myself included. When a woman says that she wants a man to be emotionally intelligent, it means that he has to just know everything that she's feeling 24/7, 7 days a week. And it gives her the ability to deflect accountability and shift blame as to why he doesn't just know. Women think that just because they're emotional, it means that they're emotionally intelligent. But the reality is that women use their emotions as an excuse for poor behavior, or they use their emotions to shift blame to the men in their lives for not being emotionally intelligent. When really, men are more emotionally intelligent than women, and women don't want to accept that or believe that. So it's easier to just blame men instead.
She went hard. She went hard. Boy, oh boy, did she go hard. As I said earlier, emotional intelligence is being able to control your emotions and then analyze a situation using logic and reason. That's emotional intelligence. Women cannot do this. What women are constantly looking for is a man that will help them, will basically force them to control their emotions. Basically, if a man gives into a woman's emotional state, then that's essentially the reflection of a man being weak. Because if she can shift your emotions, if she can force you to become emotional, then she's won. She's absolutely won. If she's been able to garner an emotional response from you, the only way that a woman will actually respect you, even though, let me make it clear, she may still throw a tantrum afterwards and claim that she's a victim, because that's what women do in Western society. That's their final go to. Men are villains, women are victims, powerful victims. But the only way she would ever actually respect you is if you remain stoic. You control your emotions in the face of her bad behavior. And sometimes the only way to win is to walk away. And when I say walk away, I don't mean just leave the room. I just don't mean leave the house. I don't mean just, on a temporary basis, but leave her entirely. Because a lot of women subconsciously want a man that will leave them, that will actually abandon them and say, yeah, I'm done. I'm not sticking around for this. I'm not going to put up with your bad behavior. That's it. And to her, that's the only way that she understands and she will ever understand that this type of behavior will drive people away. So now she knows what not to do. And hopefully, she will not do that in her next relationship. Men have to wake up and realize that We are the adults in the situation. It's hard. It's hard, but in Western society and in most society, in most situations in general, men have to realize that they're the adults. They will always be the adults. They are the adults in the relationship. I remember reading a book years ago about dating, and it was basically a PUA book, and it said to, when dealing with women who are your in who are romantic interest or just in general, treat them like your silly little sisters. And why did it say that? It said that basically because modern day women, you can't, I often describe the circumstance as a state of, at best, functional insanity, because that's the behavior that is exhibited in this world right now. Functional insanity at best, because there's no other way to describe the behavior of some people other than saying that is functionally insane, or just outright insane when they are not when they're not functional. I've said this before, that within every woman there is chaos. At a woman's core, the very core of a woman is chaos. And men have to wake up and realize this. By the way, guys, I want to know if you're enjoying the video game footage that I'm using in these videos right now. I've decided to try something new and begin integrating video game footage. Or do you prefer that when I just use footage of nature, or do you prefer footage of people? What kind of background footage do you guys prefer? And or would you like me to experiment with? And I'll try my best to accommodate you. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like the video game footage better? Do you like the nature footage better? Do you like people footage better? Do you like a mixture? Let me know what you guys think. But guys, modern day men have to walk away. No one to walk away. I see more and more guys saying to me in the comments that I've been with my wife for 25 years and I'm divorcing her now. I'm going to walk away. Or, I've been with her for like 15 years or 30 years. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to get a divorce and I'm done with this. Like, so many guys are at the end right now. Like, they can't do it anymore. They can't be in these marriages anymore. More and more men are now just applying for divorce. They can't, like, and especially that now that, like, the children are grown. As soon as the last kid is grown and there's no chance of her hitting him up for child support, oh yeah, he's gone. He's absolutely gone. The only danger that he has to face is the issue of lifetime alimony. And the crazy thing is that what modern women don't realize is this: if a woman has been with a guy for, let's say, 25 years, they got married when they were in their 20s. So let's say they got married at the age of 25, right? Both were 25, and 50 years later, 50 years, 25 years later, both of them are now 50. They've had their children. The kids are grown. They're all in their late teens or 20s now, and there's no risk of child support. This guy's 50 years old. So he's established his career. He's already had his kids. He's already built his life. Guess what? He can walk out of that marriage and go and start over. He can split everything 50-50, or he can say, listen, she can have the damn house. She can have the house. He'll walk out of the marriage. He'll end up with, let's say, maybe 30 or 40% of everything. She'll end up with 60% because she gets the house. Maybe he'll even be closer to 70. He doesn't care. He doesn't care because he gets his freedom. He's already had his kids. He's gonna walk away with 30% of everything that he has. He still has his social security, even though most people aren't gonna collect it. Maybe he has a pension, and that's that. And now everything going forward, it belongs to him, because he no longer has to raise these kids. Of course, he's there and he'll always be there to support his kids, but his kids are making their own money. They're starting their own lives, So basically, he just has to be there in the background. He no longer has to pay for every single thing. And guess what? He also doesn't have to pay for her anymore. So sure, they split up the property, they split division of property and assets, but then he's done. So he moves on. He rents a camper, or buys a camper. He has cash. He buys himself a camper, moves into the camper on a piece of land that he purchases. He lives very, very cheaply. And over the course of 2 years, even within a single year, after 1 year of living like this, divorce is finalized, living in the camper on a piece of land that he purchased. He was making, let's say, $85,000 a year. Guess what? Doesn't have any more responsibilities. He's saving virtually all of that. So now here's the kicker. He went for, he lost half, more than half of everything in the divorce, but he still had, let's say, maybe 30, $40,000 in the bank. But after the first year of living on his own, and not having to deal with the wife, oh my gosh. Well, now he has well over $100,000 in the bank due to savings, and due to all the money that he saved, not having to give that to his wife, or spend it on kids. So now, holy cow, his money is growing after living this way for just a few years. 2 years in, now he has a couple $100,000 in the bank, and his money is skyrocketing. And he says, "Well, you know what? I can work remotely." So he goes, I can only work I can work part time if I want to." So he starts going overseas, goes to Dominican Republic, goes to the Philippines, and he's also hitting the gym and working out and taking care of himself. So now he starts looking incredible. He's 50 years old and he looks great. He decides to either go and get his, he was balding at first, but he decides to go and get a hair transplant, so he restores all of his hair, and now he looks like he's in his 30s. So he's just wiped all of that away. you know he's working out, he's physically fit, and suddenly women are looking at him more at him than at younger men, because guess what? Outside of Western society, women view men differently. And while women in Western society will never admit to it, older men look more masculine. As we get older, we look more masculine. So he looks more masculine just naturally than a 20 something year old guy. He has way more resources than a 20 something year old guy. He already has his education. He's already created his value. He has his skill sets. He has life experience, and he knows more about women than a 20 something year old guy. So he knows how to react in various different situations. So he might not be, like some PUA, and I don't like those guys, but he still understands women much better than most men do, because, he was married and he's also raised daughters. So he knows how to handle a variety of things, including tantrums. So now this guy, outside of Western society, this is an extremely high value man that has his entire life ahead of him. In fact, he can start an entirely new family. He can have more kids at 50. And guess what? Have kids more kids at 50, and fast forward 20 years, they're in their 20s, he's still a Chad. Outside of Western society, he's still a Chad. He's physically fit. He's taking care of himself. His second set of kids are now grown, and he still looks great. And if the second wife acts up, it doesn't, or whatever she is, because maybe he just, lived with her, but he didn't marry her. Maybe he did, but it wasn't in the West. It was in the Philippines or Dominican Republic or wherever. And if she starts acting up, he'll just go and get someone else and start the process all over again. And he looks even better. Now he looks even more stoic. And he stayed up with the time, stayed up with his dress, with dressing. That's how Gen X is. Gen X is very good at staying fashionable. And, fast forward, he's a Chad. He's rocking out. And where's the woman? She's living in poverty. She's living in poverty, trying to live off Social Security, which has been reduced significantly because, the population has shrank so much, and fewer men are working. So much fewer men are working, that now that check that she would have collected, that would have once been $1,000 a month, now that's down to 783, and she can't live off that. So she's trying to survive off that tiny little check, Medicaid, and in some rent-controlled apartment. So she has to choose between buying food and buying medicine. And she's wondering what to do. And he's there having the time of his life. And everyone's saying, "You should help her. You should help your ex-wife." And he's like, "What? Are you kidding me? I haven't seen her in 20 years. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. Like the video and turn on notifications to never miss another video ever again. What do you guys think regarding everything? Women are desperate to find a good man. I want to know your opinions on this. And let me know if you like the game footage better, if you like the nature footage better, or footage of people better. Whatever you guys like. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Men walking away, and cheers.